Hello and welcome to News Now. Nigeria's Senate President's quest to stop the country's Code of Conduct Tribunal from trying him on allegations of false declaration of assets has suffered yet another legal setback. A federal high court in Lagos, southwest Nigeria, has dismissed Senator Bukola Saraki's appeal challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal to try him for corruption. Saraki, who is facing a 13-count charge of false asset declaration when he was governor of Kwara State, had appealed to the court to stop his arrest by the police and stay proceedings before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The presiding judge in the case, Justice Ibrahim Buba, ruled that his court did not have jurisdiction to entertain the application. The Senate President had wanted the Federal High Court to stop the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal from prosecuting him on the grounds that it is only the Attorney General of the Federation that has the power to initiate criminal proceedings against him. He pled not guilty to all 13 charges leveled against him by the Code of Conduct Bureau, describing them as false and frivolous, and that the charges were calculated to rubbish him. On Thursday, his legal team walked out on the Code of Conduct Tribunal after the tribunal chairman refused to stop the trial pending the outcome of Saraki's appeal before the Supreme Court. His lawyers had argued that the tribunal ought to have stayed action until the Supreme Court gives a verdict on their appeal, an argument, of course, which the tribunal turned down, prompting one of the Senate President's lawyers describing the action of the tribunal chairman as judicial rascality. Some lawyers, though, have come down hard on the Senate President's legal team. Here's what the national president of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights had to say about the action of Senator Saraki's lawyers.
The trial going on presently has a lot to do with the integrity quotient of the accused person. That is not to say that his presumption of innocence is no longer guaranteed under the Constitution. Indeed, it is a fundamental human right that any person charged with a criminal offense shall be presumed innocent until the contrary is proved. That much is guaranteed under the Constitution and even under so many other international conventions and statutes and instruments. However, when you appeal, when you file a notice of appeal in any appellate court, that notice of appeal does not operate as a stay. That is the law. Therefore, it is only when you argue and move that appeal and have it granted that it can operate as a stay. And therefore, one believes that it is well within a sound legal reasoning for the trial tribunal judge to insist, given the very philosophy of the recent Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which was passed on the 13th of May 2015, that the trial should go on. Indeed, the entire philosophy of the quick dispensation of justice is designed to take care of such applications that are clearly introduced to truncate speedy dispensation of justice.
The State Security Service has reacted to reports that it was laying siege on the residence of a former National Security Advisor in disobedience of a subsisting court order. The service explained why it laid the siege on the former NSA's home, saying it was not hounding him. The SSS said in a statement that what brought the recent standoff between Sambo Dasuki and the service, despite the court-ordered release of his international passport November 4, 2015, is his refusal to appear before a committee undertaking the investigation of an entirely different case. Dasuki, however, denied being invited to appear before the committee, accusing the DSS of trying to arrest him without any fresh court warrant of arrest. The UN West Africa representative Mohamed Ibn Chambers says a regional security operation against Boko Haram in West Africa is due to start at the end of the rainy season in a bid to put an end to the militants' offensive in the region. According to Chambers, the expected joint raids would adapt to the changing tactics of the enemy. He said the rainy season is always an opportunity for terrorist groups like Boko Haram to hide in the forest to perpetrate the atrocities they commit in the Sahara, Sahel and Savannah zone. Meanwhile, reports say Nigerian Air Force have actually bombed a Boko Haram base in the country's southeast and arrested more than 20 militants in its biggest counterattack in 8 months. Security sources have actually confirmed that. Now, members of the militant groups based mostly in southeastern Nigeria, northeast Nigeria, I should say, have repeatedly attacked the Lake Chad area, including Niger's southern border region of Diffa. Government forces tracked the militants after a soldier was killed when a military vehicle was blown up by the group near Lake Chad on Monday. The military said it, however, does not yet have an official death toll, adding that the soldiers had arrested the remaining fighters. One person has been shot dead as members of the indigenous people of Biafra took to the streets in the southeastern part of Nigeria to protest the continuous detention of their leader and the director of Radio Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The Nigeria police had warned the group not to embark on what it called an ill-advised protest. However, the group's members, numbering over 30,000, were earlier seen gathered at Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu statue by Niger Bridgehead, also known as Odumegwu Ojukwu Gateway. That's Niger Bridgehead now, in the commercial city of Onitsha, that's in Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, chanting and dancing pro-Ojukwu and Biafra songs from where they marched peacefully down to Upper Iweka flyover. The group had said it was going to start a million-man march in Onitsha before moving to Asaba Delta State. Now, their attempts to block access to the bridge was stopped by soldiers. The Biafra supporters have intensified their agitations since the arrest of Radio Biafra director Nnamdi Kanu by the Department of State Services. The police in Imo State in southeast Nigeria is searching for a man who allegedly killed his girlfriend for refusing his marriage proposal. Onyinyechi Okegbulam, who was 22 years old until her untimely death, was a final year student of Federal Polytechnic Nekede in Owerri West local government area of the state. Witnesses say she was shot in the head at close range by her supposed boyfriend in the village after she rejected his offer of marriage. The deceased was said to have been lured out of her family home by the boyfriend at night after she rejected him and was then shot. Another source claimed that soon after shooting the girl, the young man tried to smuggle Onyinyechi's lifeless body into his car, but fled when the woman raised an alarm, which attracted several people to the scene. Those familiar with the case say the ditched boyfriend was responsible for the entire educational expenses of the girl. Police are now looking for the boyfriend. The opposition People's Democratic Party PDP has said that the rejection by the ruling All Progressives Congress APC senators of the 5,000 monthly stipend promised during their election campaign shows that the party deceived Nigerians to get to power. The Senate on Wednesday rejected a motion for the payment of 5,000 monthly allowance to unemployed youths in the country. The motion was sponsored by Philip Aduda of the PDP, but was greeted with objections by majority APC members in the Senate. Now, PDP's National Publicist Secretary Olisa Metu in a statement said the development was a clear confirmation that the APC was a party of, quote, hypocrites who never had the intentions of honoring any of their campaign promises. Well, the ruling All Progressives Congress has been replying to the opposition PDP on the 5,000 naira stipend for unemployed graduates. The party has assured Nigerians that it will not renege on its campaign promise to pay the agreed amount monthly to 25 million most vulnerable Nigerians. The party also called on the citizens to ignore what it describes as a mischievous attempt by the PDP to confuse and mislead Nigerians on the issue. In a statement issued in Abuja by its spokesperson Lai Mohammed, the party said even though the PDP-led federal government plundered the Commonwealth in its time, the APC has devised creative means not only to pay the money but also to fulfill its other campaign promises to Nigerians. It said the non-implementation of the payment policy so far is owing to the fact that it was not included in the 2015 budget, which was prepared by the PDP-led Jonathan administration, and also because of the need to first block all financial leakages. The APC said the Buhari administration is also embarking on a massive infrastructure renewal program in the areas of roads, rail and power, for which a $2.5 billion infrastructure fund is being put in place. The All Progressives Congress and its governorship candidate in the April 11 governorship election in Akwa Ibom State, South Nigeria, Umana Okon-Umana, have filed an appeal at the appeal court in Abuja challenging the judgment of the state governorship election petition tribunal on the poll. The tribunal, in its sitting last month, nullified the April 11 election in 11 out of the 31 local government areas of the state. The Justice Sadiq Umar-led tribunal in its judgment also ordered a rerun of the elections in the affected local government areas. However, the APC and its candidate Umana had criticized the tribunal's judgment, describing it as a miscarriage of justice. In their appeal, the two appellants asked the court to set aside the judgment of the tribunal in relation to the validation of election results in 13 local government areas of the state. A study conducted by a U.S.-based institute in collaboration with Nigerian researchers has revealed that the abortion rates in the country increased from 61,000 in 1996 to an estimated 1.2 million in 2012. The research conducted by Gothmaker Institute and the University of Ibadan finds that 1.2 million abortions were performed in the country in 2012, compared with the 61,000 abortions estimated to have occurred in Nigeria in 1996. The research also showed that in spite of Nigeria's highly restrictive abortion law, the estimated abortion rate was 33 abortions per 1,000 women aged 15 to 49 in 2012. Although this rate is greater than the 1996 rate, which was 23 per 1,000 estimated in a previous study, the most prudent conclusion may be that the abortion rate has increased slightly, as the two rates were calculated using different approaches. The researchers urged the Nigerian government and its local and international partners to help reduce unintended pregnancies by promoting family planning programs. We'll take a short break here, and News Now will be right back.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching the Funny White Man Show, which is the biggest, the brightest, and the most entertaining show in Africa.
Funny white man, for this way you talk, it's too much. Give me 5,000 man that you. It's too much. So you get it like, when she move along the street, you should like I'm going girl. You know, my own people, actually. Yeah, fine, it's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm one of those very few. I'm forever taking it personal. I will listen 160 million Nigerians are corrupt. How? Brother, I'm looking for you.
Yeah, but it's a growth, and this is the time to build business. I know the pitfalls, I know what to do and what not to do. But there are months where you get business and months.
You know how we do, how we train them. We do the way you do.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching Trending Matters on the Funny White Man Show. Of course, we will bring you trending issues just to entertain and tickle your fancy.
Welcome back. The 2015 International Trade Fair began today in Lagos in 3 different centers: TBS, that's the Tafawa Balewa Square, Museum Center, and Freedom Park. The fair began with the theme enhancing value addition in the non-oil economy. While declaring the fair open, the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Remi Bello, called on the government of Nigeria to diversify the economy.
The theme of the 2015 Lagos International Trade Fair is, I quote, enhancing value addition in the non-oil economy, end of quote. This theme is chosen to underscore the strategic importance of the non-oil sectors in the Nigerian economy in the face of countries' over-dependence on the oil sector and the urgent need for economic diversification. We are all witnesses to the daunting economic challenges Nigeria is presently facing due to the fall in the global price of crude oil. For a country like Nigeria that had over the years relied almost entirely on oil to fund its economy, the implications are there and frightening. many states of the Federation are currently having challenges meeting their basic financial obligations. Of lean international oil price and its attendant impact on the Nigerian economy, the non-oil sector major driver of growth in Nigeria. It is therefore imperative that if the Nigerian economy is to survive, and if our country is to achieve economic independence and industrialization, there is that urgent need to diversify our sources of revenue. We are a country rich in numerous natural resources. Our land mass is large enough to support massive agricultural development, and we possess the human resources to power our industries.
Now, as part of effort to ensure the availability of petroleum products, guard against hoarding and artificial scarcity, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, in Kwara State, north-central Nigeria, has sealed off 6 filling stations. The DPR's new operation controller in the state, Philip Salvation, alongside other officials, monitored petrol stations in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, to ensure that they comply with rules guiding the purchase and selling of the products. The monitoring process including checking of meters, the quantity of fuel in the tanks, and the quality of the fuel being sold, among others. Those found wanting were fined with 2 million naira each, and their stations were sealed. Crude oil prices edged up on Friday after falling as much as 2% the previous session, with analysts saying oversupply and a strong dollar would continue to weigh on fuel markets. U.S. crude futures were trading at $45.46 a barrel, at up 26 cents from their last settlement, while Brent crude rose 18 cents to $48.16 a barrel. But the gains followed steep falls the previous day on climbing U.S. crude inventories. An analyst said oversupply would continue to pressure oil markets. The strong U.S. dollar is also seen as a drag on commodity markets as it makes imports for countries with other currencies more expensive. UK investigators looking at what caused a Russian airliner to crash in Egypt have said that it believed a bomb was put in the hold prior to takeoff. The UK government suspended all flights to and from the Egyptian resort of Sharm el-Sheikh 2 days ago. The move came after it said the incident was likely to have been caused by terrorism. It had received intelligence based on intercepted communications between militants in the Sinai Peninsula. However, both Egypt and Russia have said it is too early to draw conclusions. The Metrojet Airbus A321 was flying from Sharm el-Sheikh to St. Petersburg when it came down in Sinai on Saturday, killing all 224 people on board. Most of the victims were Russians. Meanwhile, Russia has ordered the suspension of all flights to Egypt following indications that the crash near Sharm el-Sheikh was caused by a bomb. President Vladimir Putin made the announcement after UK investigators said they believed a bomb was put in the plane's hold prior to takeoff, killing all 224 people on board. Putin's decision to suspend Russian flights to Egypt came after a recommendation by the head of Russia's FSB security service during a crisis meeting in Moscow. The Russian leader has instructed the government to work out mechanisms to ensure Russian citizens return home, his spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said. Russia says as many as 45,000 Russian holidaymakers are currently in Egypt. The UK estimates that 19,000 of its nationals remain stranded in Sharm el-Sheikh. To sports now, the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria have qualified for the final of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup after overcoming Mexico 4-2 in the semi-finals. Goals from Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Nwakali, Oji Okonkwo and Osinachi Ebere handed the Eaglets a place in the World Cup final for the 8th time. Speaking after the match, NFF President Amaju Pinnick expressed his excitement at the Eaglets' achievement, saying the players had shown they are potential champions. Nigeria is the most successful side at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup with 4 titles and 3 second-place finishes. The Eaglets, who are also the defending champions, will now meet African neighbors Mali in the final on Sunday. Spanish giants Real Madrid have given embattled striker Karim Benzema a public vote of confidence after a French judge ordered criminal investigations against the forward. The 27-year-old was placed in police custody after being summoned on Wednesday morning. He was the second footballer to be questioned by the police after former international Djibril Cissé was taken into custody last month over the same issue. The matter relates to a judicial investigation opened in July over claims that Valbuena was the subject of an extortion attempt. However, Cissé was released after being questioned by police, but Benzema was referred to the investigating judge in the Versailles courthouse. The judge on Wednesday confirmed that Benzema was now under formal investigation for complicity in attempted blackmail and participation in a criminal conspiracy. However, despite the allegation against him, the Spanish club on Thursday released an official statement supporting Benzema. His lawyer, Sylvain Cornier, has said that the Frenchman is innocent and took no part in any blackmail or attempted blackmail. If he's found guilty, Benzema faces a possible 5-year prison sentence. Well, that's it in news now. We thank you very much for watching. Continue to stay tuned to TV360.